Welcome. I'm Coach Daniel. This is Insomnia Insight number 415. And this is especially for you if you have thought or you're thinking, oh my gosh, I think I'm going crazy. This, in fact, it's one of the most common things I encounter as a coach is someone who tells me, Daniel, I think I'm losing my mind. I think I'm losing my marbles. And it's, of course, it comes from a state of like great confusion, frustration, anxiety, et cetera, et cetera. So I think what we really want to talk about here is how, and this will sound odd, but in fact, having had this thought is actually quite reassuring. And we'll see how that can be in a second. So let's go through this. And by the way, I always forget this. Many, many thanks to John Amont for the amazing coaching that's happening in the comment section, and everyone else who does that too. Especially John, you've done so much helpful work there. I'm really grateful for it. Big thanks to everyone who's reviewed my books on Amazon. It's amazing. Big thanks to everyone who's written reviews on the podcast as well. I am so appreciative of all this, and I'm seeing more and more how people find this channel thanks to word of mouth. So again, thanks so much. And now back to this episode and the previous episode, by the way, 414. I got a lot of good feedback on this one, 414. So that may also be something you want to check out. But back to this now. Again, I hear this very often. Someone says, "I think I'm going crazy," and so I want to start this with looking at kind of like what's the opposite of crazy. Well, that's sanity. So I just pulled a definition of that. So sanity is the ability to think and behave in a normal and rational manner. That's the definition of sanity, and we'll go back to that in a second. But first, we're going to see how it can very easily happen. You can easily get to a place where you're thinking, I think I'm losing my marbles. I think I'm going crazy. And why is that? Well, let's look at what insomnia is. Insomnia, can be defined in many ways, but for the purpose of this episode, we can think of it as a cycle of like increasing effort and diminishing returns. In other words, you had some trouble sleeping, you're trying something to sleep more, sleep better, and they actually end up sleeping no better, and in fact worse, and then you try even more, and then you sleep even worse. So this is a cycle of like increasing effort. You try more and more and more, yet you're actually sleeping worse or less with every attempt to try to sleep better. So that's kind of like we can already kind of sense from that description that it can lead to a lot of confusion, a lot of frustration. And now the core confusion that's actually driving the cycle is that confusion that being awake at night is a threat to our safety. The brain is a survival machine. It has identified that, being awake during the day is completely normal, fine, no problem with that. But when we're awake at night, when we're in this mind state of wakefulness at night, that shouldn't happen. That's dangerous. That's a threat. We got to do something about it. So this survival machine, again, our brain, it tries, more and more to keep us safe because it thinks it's dangerous to be awake. But as actually the more we try, the more effort, the more preoccupation, the more attention towards like trying to problem solve, the more like hyper aroused we become, then we actually become more awake the more we try to sleep, right? So that it leads to this situation where the brain tries more and more to keep us safe, yet it seems that we're becoming even more unsafe. We're becoming even more endangered the more it's trying to do this. So when you've tried everything, right? You've tried all the supplements, maybe medications, maybe you try CBT-I, maybe you try exercise, breathing exercises, blackout curtains, all kinds of things. You're not sleeping, you're exhausted, you're scared, nothing makes sense. It feels like you lose your mind. For everyone has trouble sleeping. For some people it was like a very, very big part of their journey. I thought I was going crazy. For other people maybe it was a fleeting thought, but I would say pretty much everyone I interact with has had some version of the thought, I'm going crazy. And why is this so very important? Well, it is because of the following. If the thought, I'm going crazy, happens to pretty much everyone in the context we described above, in the context of insomnia, then it is normal. It is a normal idea. It is a typical idea. It's just something that is born out of the situation for, again, everyone who's had trouble sleeping. So when we think about it this way, that given the circumstances above, when the brain is thinking and behaving in a normal and rational manner, in other words, what I want to say was actually, given the circumstances, again, the brain is actually thinking and behaving in a normal and rational manner when the idea, I'm going crazy, pops up, because again, it is super, super common. It is very, very understandable why that idea would come up in the circumstance. So like, I'm trying, and I'm getting less and less. I'm more and more engaged in what the heck is going on, right? So here's kind of the final conclusion of all this is the surprising thing that thinking I'm going crazy is evidence of sanity. And if you're in this moment, you're in the middle of the struggle, you're so scared, you're thinking you're going crazy. This may not immediately sound very reassuring, but think about it, ponder it, and know that, to me, there's no question that thinking I'm going crazy, it is evidence of sanity. It is very reassuring. Now, we're almost done. We're not going to end here. I'm actually going to add a bonus insight, because I did an IG live with Coach Alina the other day, and I brought this up, and she said, "Yeah, I agree with you, Daniel." But she added something, a little bit of different kind of a variation of the same idea I had. So here's the little bonus thing from Coach Alina. She said something like this: if your brain is able to evaluate itself and wonder if you're going crazy, if that ability to look at things and wonder, am I going crazy, to do this kind of self analysis, if that is intact, then that's also evidence of a normal functioning brain, a brain that's actually functioning at a very high level. If any of us were truly like losing our minds, we probably wouldn't even know about that. We probably wouldn't have the ability to like even conceptualize that. So again, I'm going to end it with this phrase: thinking I'm going crazy, I believe, is evidence of sanity. I hope you find this reassuring if you've had this thought, if you're having this thought. And if you have any comments, questions, then as always, please leave them in the comment section. And also know that if you want a little bit more extra help on your path to sleeping well for the rest of your life, then do head over to the Sleep Coach School, and there's several good options for you. So with that said, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks for being here. And I look forward to having you back soon. Bye now.